I was just going to come on here and do an update about my brother, because the big thing is I need to share. My hair is crazy today. I need to share some of this stuff, because what I'm seeing with my family, and how I know they're not the only ones. So I need to talk about this stuff. But when I picked up my phone, I had a notification, and my daughter had sent me a, I don't know, screenshot of some comment. You go on social media, people just assume so much. And, you know, I've publicly talked about my life here, you know, for the past over a year. So, you know, my truth is out there. So it is funny because, it was something about, like, she is assuming like I'm a drunk drug addict, and that my daughter's trying to normalize that with the video. And it's so crazy because when my kids were little, I didn't even when I was in my 20s and my kids were little, I was pretty bad then. I did do a lot of drugs. But, you know, I was really young and my kids were little. Then when I got older and I had my family, you know, because I got divorced from their dad young. And then when I got older and I had my older kids, so I have 4 daughters, 2 with my first husband and 2 with the second one. But I was older, you know, and I barely ever even drank. I definitely didn't do any drugs or something. So, you know, when I was focused on being a mom, I wasn't out doing drugs and being wild and crazy. I was a stay-home mom until I decided that I needed to be able to take care of myself because I couldn't live the way I was living. And I decided to go back to school and, you know, became a nurse. But before that, I was just staying home with my kids. But when my other daughters were young, I was a tattoo artist in Hollywood. Yeah, I was living a little bit crazier life, but I only had my kids part of the time. The system there in California at the time was very progressive. So they thought the parents should have equal time. If the dad wanted equal time, he got equal time. And he was trying to take the kids away from me. And so, you know, that was one reason I was spinning out of control. It was just nonstop chaos. And I was out there by myself. My siblings started coming out there, but before that, when I was in California, I was by myself with just him and his family, and they had money and security, and they were fighting me in court nonstop. They were just harassing me. He wanted to kill me. He was very scary. Anyways, so I didn't have my kids, but every other week. And so the weeks I didn't have my kids, I was out having fun. You know, I was young in Hollywood and having fun. So, yeah, I don't, but where people think like, my daughter's trying to normalize, like I was some drunk alcoholic mom. Look at like how people can watch some video for a couple seconds and then they make all these assumptions. For one thing, the video was just made when she was here. I didn't even know she had taped me, but I know when the video was made because I saw the video and I knew that's when it was, while she was staying here. So I knew that, but I didn't know that I didn't know any of those tapes existed. When you see your kids on the phone, you don't know that they're holding it up videoing you. You think that they're just looking at something, you know? So yeah, I didn't even know that footage existed, but it was new. It's not even from when they were little kids. So these people they make so much assumptions. I think she's trying to show, you know, like I've still got spirit, you know, my mom is still, you know, having fun and, you know, living life. I don't know. You know, you don't know what anybody is doing or thinking if you're not inside them, inside their head and understand their intention. So that's why it's a waste of time and energy to try and please other people, to understand other people. All you can do is understand yourself, and that's a struggle. So, but what I wanted to talk about was, so earlier when I was talking about my brother, I was talking about the hospital stuff. And one thing that I am definitely seeing is how much trust is given to this medical community. And the one thing is really nutty is because how many, and I've talked about this before, is that this has been a part of weeding out the good, or I don't want to say good and bad, because that's what we got to get away from, but it is like a high integrity and desperation. So these two things, you know, integrity versus desperation. So you have a lot of people who are working right now who are desperate for whatever reason, usually because they feel like they have to survive, they've got a family to feed, they got to take care of and stuff like that. So, you know, they're in a state of like, I have to work no matter what. It doesn't matter if they tell me to hide the body, I gotta fucking work. So we got a lot of people who are willing to hide a body so that they can feed their families for whatever their intentions, whatever their reasons, whatever their soul is showing them. That's, you know, that's their business. But it's the facts. And so, you know, already we're playing with the numbers. You go into the gas chamber to have somebody who's, you know, got you on their mind. That's, you know, that's already a problem. So, and another problem is the way people approach it. They think, oh, there's good ones, there's nice ones, I've met some, they're real nice. And I'm just like, if you think people are the same at a party as they are at work behind closed doors, you're crazy. I can guarantee you, I am not the only nurse who knows what doctors are like, and not just because they're arrogant and yell and scream and demanding whiny little babies. Not just that part. It is, we've been behind the closed doors. We've been in the other room when they're discussing people. Like, we know their attitude. We know what they're thinking about. And it's not what the people, you shouldn't be trusting these people with your health. Like, people just surrender their health because they think these people are watching out for them. And I just explained a little while ago how the system works about, it's all based on numbers and coding and protocols and, you know, what they're allowed to do for these things. They don't go outside of that. And, you know, they're already, so they already started saying, oh, I think we're waiting on some more test results. The syphilis test, you know, that's the big one. We're waiting on the syphilis test. And, and then they threw this out there too. Well, you know, he was sick in December and he went and got the test and it was negative, but he was pretty sick. So it's probably, this is an aftermath kind of situation from that illness. Okay, people, don't let them give you vague bullshit. That is vague bullshit. All they want to do is hand the baton off to the next guy. They will discharge you and send you to a specialist to make it the specialist problem. They don't want to deal with it. So, and that's why you have to know. You have to Google some shit. But then they sit there, stay off the WebMD. Bullshit. There's so many pages and pages of people who have some situation just like this. They go on and they start asking questions, and there is, I can't think of what they're called. I keep on to think format. It's not called a format, but it's a place where people go and talk about their symptoms, and people share information. And I was on one before when I was having all of the problem after my hysterectomy because I couldn't walk. Oh my God, I was bleeding. I was horrible. And so I went on to see what other people were talking about, you know, and that's when I started seeing this stuff about the mesh. There was all these people who had the mesh thing put inside to hold your bladder up or something. They put fake parts inside of you, and then the fake parts fuck up and cause people to get sick and die and stuff. And so there's some big class action suit about it. So I sent my stuff in, and they got all my medical records. I just put a whole bunch of oil on my face. They put all my medical records and looked through them to see, and I didn't have that mesh that was causing the problem. So I felt, okay, well, that's not the problem. But that's where you got to go in and you got to see, what are other people talking about? What are other people saying? Are they having this problem? Like, what's going on outside of my fucking little world that is created that I'm just stuck, trapped in? So when you go out and you start seeing, it's like, oh, so this person got this test and that test, and so they had this and that. Start asking for the test. They're not going to offer them. It's not part of the protocol. This is the basic. Like, you go to get your feet done, the pedicure, right? And they give you all those options. Oh, you can get the deluxe, you can get the super deluxe, you can get the king queen deluxe, you know, like they've got all these options. It's not like that. The protocol is the basic. You're getting the basic. And if you're not in there saying, hey, I want the deluxe, you better get on the testing. We want to know more. We don't want somebody to leave here with a vague, oh, well, we think it was probably because he had this sickness, you know, but he's doing great now. He's doing really good. You know, we haven't seen any problems. You know, he's ready to go home. Okay, so you don't know what the fuck's going on. He's going to wait, 6 weeks, you know, maybe 2 months to get into a specialist. Some places you could wait 6 months, you know. If you're not released with it on your report that says it needs to be seen immediately, and when that happens, usually the neurologist will come to the hospital to see you. And he could have already had that. I'm not at the hospital, so I don't know. But if the specialist doesn't come to the hospital to see you, but even if they do, that's only contact. Once you start trying to talk to their office people and get an appointment, it won't make a shit. If they don't think that you are about to die at any moment, then you just go on the back of the line, which can be very, very long, especially when we've got reduced medical staff and stuff like that. So, you know, you're waiting a long time. And you don't know what's going on, and it can happen again at any second. And so I was pushing to my family. I'm like, you know, what if he shouldn't need sodium? What if he's got some imbalance and he needs to stay away from sodium, and it's that fucking simple, and we don't know? And, do you know how many people are put out into the world with the diagnosis of epilepsy? Just vague. You ask them, well, what's wrong? What happened? Why do you have epilepsy? I don't know. You know, I had a seizure once and I went into the hospital, and then they just said they didn't know, you know, maybe it was a flu, maybe it was this, maybe it was that, you know. So it's always this vague kind of thing, because they can't give you anything concrete because they don't fucking know. They're just pretending like, you know, it's okay though. It's okay. Don't worry. It's okay. Especially when it comes to some of this stuff. No, it's not okay. And especially if it can be something simple, especially when we know how much poison is in our fucking environment. And, you know, if your body's reacting to certain things, like, I mean, what if he just needs to give up something simple to, you know, stay not having seizures? So, you know, I'm still pushing for the toxicology and, you know, going in and doing more comprehensive testing. But, you know, they only want to do the basic. And if you're not pushy, then, and, you know, they'll lock you out of the damn hospital. You try and be pushy anyways. I mean, but this is how it works. And you see how people are just like, well, trusting them. Oh, but they're not. They're doing what they can. Well, insurance will pay. Well, you know, it's like, what are you making excuses for these motherfuckers? Like, seriously. I do have a very, very different perspective than most people. Like, I have been at a lot of parties with a lot of doctors. I've been in a lot of back rooms with a lot of doctors. I've worked at a lot of different hospitals. I've worked on a lot of different doctors. And I have worked in medical, and I've seen it from all different aspects. And then that is, medical is what, you know, fucked up my health, fucked up my eyes, fucked up my brain. It was them in the hospital. When I went in for something totally different, I didn't have anything wrong with my brain before that. And I went in and they messed it up. So, you know, I know for sure, you know, I've seen it. My perspective is a lot broader than a lot of people, and all I can do is share it and hopefully give some people some insight. You know, and if they're having to deal with certain things, to just, you know, look at this person, this doctor is a spoke on a wheel, is a system. He's just one of the players in the system. He has, you know, he's agreed to what they are pushing, and they've exposed themselves. That's the thing. You know, the medical, along with all of the other things, our government, our judicial, all of these systems are exposing themselves. And it's each person waking up to this exposure of what this is. So they wake up to the different things. Like I said, so some people are just so stuck on one thing. They're just so focused on, what happened in November. They're just focused on it. And they don't even see everything else that is collapsing. Our food, the government, religion, every fucking thing. Because it's all part of the same beast. It's the tentacles of the beast. And, when you start looking and seeing the tentacles and you start questioning things and stop trusting. People just trust. It's a surrender. Life's so hard here. I give you my purpose. I give you my energy, Take it back. Pull it back to you. I may have a lot of insights on the medical, and, you could go find someone else who has worked in the judicial, someone else who's worked in the government, someone else who's worked in Hollywood, like all of the different systems that are created as tentacles to this beast. And you will find the same story over and over. It's all based on corruption, greed. It's seedy as fuck. And we've all just allowed it into our lives. So, this is our time to recognize and pull free. This is what it's all about. This is what ascension is about. This is what a conscious awareness is about. And that's why I say, don't get stuck on one thing. People get so stuck, and it's going to open up for them all. But the more you open yourself up, see, the less hard you're going to fall, because you are in control. You are going and looking. Like anybody who listens to me and listens about the medical, either you're going to think I'm a wackadoo, or you're going to think, oh, good point. Oh, I should think about that. Oh, yeah, I hadn't thought of that, Hopefully, that's what I'm trying to do, is plant some seeds so that people can start, thinking for themselves and pulling free from this agenda, this narrative that we've been confined to. This controlled us, controlled our very being. So anyways, with the medical, yeah, it is not, and I'm not saying that, all doctors are bad or something, but, you've got to stop thinking that just because somebody is a doctor, that makes them a good person, or that good people can't do bad things. Good people do bad things every single fucking day. We've all seen it. We've all been in the room and seen a good person do a shitty fucking thing. So that should be in us. We should understand that. And so, it's time to pull back. Stop with the idols. Stop with the fucking going and filling out this circle. We have got to say, hey, no, you don't lead me. No, I'm not going to allow this in my life anymore. This tyranny and this control. You think you can step on my toes? No, I'm a free soul. I'm a free soul, and I was put here to be free. And, they can fucking shoot me in the head. I don't give a fuck. I'll just go home. I'll leave their place. So, anyways, it is, it's up to us to start thinking for ourselves and be logical, And I told my brother too, if you're thinking that you can just trust these people, that's naive. If you think people are the same at a party as they are in the back room when they are not seen by everybody, that's naive way to think, so it's just the same. You go in the back of a restaurant and you see how they're treating your food, just the same. You go into the back room of the hospital, back room of the doctor's office. So, people have got to start being logical and quit surrendering their health, take control of their health. That's why I try and talk so much about, your body and listening to your body, tuning in, figuring out what kind of things you need to eat. Oh, this one too. My mom told me yesterday, okay, because, I'm always, because they push so hard on this veganism, right? Like, that's perfectly fine. Somebody wants to be vegan, be vegan. We should all be listening to our own bodies and eat what our body tells us to eat, when our body tells us. This fucking set times of eating and what you should eat and how much. We see the results. Obese, unhappy people. But when you listen to your body and you're tuned in, when you're eating what your body tells you to eat, you'll eat less of it because there's a whole thing. It's a process that people need to get to be more tuned in to their eating and being healthy and stuff. But anyways, this whole push on the veganism, right? So my mom was telling me yesterday that it is like we can't live without collagen. Collagen is super important for us. And there's some other ones too, like some enzymes and stuff. When she was friends with this pharmacist, and he used to say there's certain enzymes that you only have a certain amount in your body. And when those enzymes run out, you just die. Your body can't keep going. Just like I'm talking about, you need these synapses. If you have one that it's not getting what it needs to cause the next one, then, it defaults the system. So that's why it's super important. But he said that we don't eat the foods that have the enzymes in them that we need. See how important it is about the food stuff. And, I'm telling you, Stephen Gundry has so much. I think he's like a food guru for me. I really appreciate what he brings to the table about diet and stuff. And so I totally say read his books. But anyway, she was talking about how important the collagen, was it collagen? Did I just say collagen? I think collagen. This is what happens. This is what my brain injury. It's like I totally lose words. But that we have to have this, and that it used to be. She said, when you used to get sick, and everybody, across the whole globe, everybody would have chicken soup. It's just like gone all the way back to the beginning. And she said that she was watching some about it, and it said that the chicken soup. Well, the reason why we would have the chicken soup is because they would cook the bones to get the collagen, because the collagen is what would make us healthy. See the stuff that is hidden from us. We all just think, oh, eating chicken soup, like people are eating damn canned chicken soup. And it's no wonder it's just eating it because it's comfort food. It just, makes me feel like someone cares. But really there was a purpose to the chicken soup, and the collagen in the bones. And look at the movement, how they keep us moving away from everything, away from natural. There's things in nature that we need as also being living beings, So anyways, I was just, I'm going to start getting some bone stock and stuff like that, and start eating more of that kind of, like I don't eat meat, but, I'll use the broth or whatever, but I think I'm going to get some whole chickens for Stella, because she can eat the meat, and then I'll use the bones to make stock, and then I'll use the chicken stock to put in different things just to get the collagen, because it's way better to get stuff naturally than it is to take a supplement. But I guess if you want to do a supplement, it is powder is better, the powder form, I guess. And I don't think the pills, I don't remember. She told me there was a couple different ways, but she said the powder is the most efficient. So I might order some and put some in smoothies or whatever, but it's just these hidden things that are hidden from us that are super important to our health. And it's the hidden knowledge, because they don't tell us about it. It's like we have to go out and look. We have to start trying to understand. And that's why you find so many like health nuts and exercise nuts and stuff like that, because once they find the truth, they want to share it. They want other people to get the same benefits, because there's just a lot of hidden truth. And there's just a lot of people who surrender to a system because it's easier to give up control than to fight this system, because the system is very consuming, and it's there to beat you down if you don't comply. So it takes a lot. And that's why you got to pull in, pull in from your soul to find your inner strength, because that's where it all is. It's inside of you. So anyways, I don't know if I said anything new or if I said anything helpful, but hopefully, helping people to just start, it's like when my fire starts going out and I got to take that little thing where you squeeze it together, it blows the little air. It's kind of like doing that, just trying to get people to spark up some thoughts, because they've tried to turn our brains off, and you know, we got to turn them back on. So have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.